Hi, Wookie. Hi, Trisha. Missed you. Hi, Skrilla. What are you laughing about, Skrilla? Hi, guys. Happy Monday. Thank you, Trisha. Thank you. Thanks for the floaty diney and the crystal ball on the window. How you doing? Happy Monday, everybody. New Story Monday. Lana, thank you so much. Welcome to the porch. Hi, Gru. There's lots of stories today. Hi, Catherine. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. Thanks to those of you who were able to make it to the premiere tonight. We do have a new story. I usually read the new story around midnight. So if people could come in and ask if I've read the new story yet, feel free to pass on the word that I read the new story usually around midnight. Aw, thanks, Shorty. You're so sweet. Hi, Carrie. And if you're new here, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. If you guys could do me a favor, could you hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner? And there's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs. And it helps us grow our beautiful porch with cool people instead of trolls. Also, using keywords throughout the night in the chat really helps AI categorize us properly. So feel free to use stuff like, are you afraid of the dark? Goosebumps, paranormal, supernatural, ghost stories, bedtime stories, ASMR, storyteller, Appalachia, anything like that. Really helps. Oh no, Mary, that's okay. Thanks, Lily. Hi, Kim. Hi, Justin. Welcome in, everybody. Hi, Beefy. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Khaleesi. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Shells. Sherry, thanks for the cute little starfish and the little lifeguard. Sally, thanks for your heart me. Khaleesi, thanks for the cozy cryptids. Kim, thanks for the popular and the cozy cryptid. Laura, thanks for the community hearts. Crystal, thanks for the club power and the club cheers. No, Kim, I left, I think. Was that at the end of your live? Thank you, Sally. Or do you mean like a duet video? Is it on your page? No, I need to look at it. You mean like a duet? Oh my God. Wait, in your live, or is it like... Oh man, I'm disappointed. I'll see it in the recording. I'll see it in the recording. Alani, we read all kinds of stories today. It just depends on what is voted for. And we do a poll and we vote. And I usually start the first story at about 10:30. Hi, Tequila Pepsi. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for the repost and the sharing out to your friends. Thanks for the tapping. Happy Monday. It's New Story Monday, so I will be reading the new story at midnight. Woot woot. And feel free, if you guys have story requests, feel free to write them in the chat in all capital letters, and then I will write them down and we will vote on the first story. Happy Monday. Welcome to the porch. Lonnie, I am live on Twitch as well as TikTok. Hi, Taryn. Welcome in, everybody. Crystal, thank you for the cozy cryptids. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all of these stories myself, and you can listen to them whenever you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. Thank you, Anubis. Hi, Delphi. Also, it is Monday and we have a new story. I premiere a new story every Monday live, so thank you for those of you who made it to the live premiere. I will be reading the new story at midnight or around midnight. And if you haven't yet, feel free to write your story requests in all capital letters, and I will write them down and we will vote. Also, if you could do me a big favor, thank you, Chris, for the follow. Welcome to the porch. If you would do me a big favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs. And it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. And if you're on Twitch and YT, I don't really know how to share it out, but it'd be great if you do. Hi, James. Hi, Hellhound. Welcome back. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back, relax, check out the shooting stars, and welcome to the porch. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Rachie. Thank you, Crystal. Hi, Lisa. And by the way, feel free to write your story requests in all capital letters, and we will vote. I'm going to set up the poll right now. Burley, that's so cute. Devin, relaxing nervous system since the 1300s. I love that. Okay, you guys, I have the first poll is ready. Thank you, Lonnie. Thank you so much. And to answer your question, I don't know if you were still in here when I answered earlier. I'm also live on TikTok and Twitch, but I have the most people on my TikTok live. I just started streaming over on YT and Twitch like 2 months ago, and I don't really know how to like get people. It's not as social, so I don't really know how to get people to come into the lives over there. But I do cross streaming, so it's like I might as well stream for you guys on there as well. But welcome, I'm glad you're here, and thank you so much. This is our porch. Welcome to our porch. I'm Devin, and we are the Porch Pals. All right, guys, if you are on TikTok, I have the poll ready to go. We have the Marshlight, the Lubbock Lights, the White Witch of Rose Hall. We have the Devil's Tramping Ground, and we have the Last Summer Carnival. And yeah, James Merlin's in here snoring too. I got him a new kitty bed and he finally likes it. And he's snoring. All right, guys, you can vote if you're on TT in the top left-hand corner. There is a blue box and you can vote up to 50 times. And you can vote for more than one story. We have the Marshlight, the Lubbock Lights, the White Witch of Rose Hall, the Devil's Tramping Ground, and the Last Summer Carnival. Who's it gonna be? Hi, Seabass. And the winner is the Marshlight. Thanks, Leslie. Or is it Liesel? Thanks. I think it's a really fun way for everybody to feel like involved, and that way I don't have to like decide which stories for every night, because you guys get to say which ones you want to hear. And I just really, it's my favorite feature. It like is my live, like depends on it basically, because I love giving you guys the choice. Really, Chad? Do you live in North Carolina? All right, guys, so the winner is the Marshlight. And so sit back and relax. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, check out the shooting stars, and welcome to the porch. Oh, that's right, Chad. Which part of North Carolina do you live in? Western? and welcome to the porch. And if you are new here, my name is Devin, and I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all these stories myself, and they are available on my YT channel as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. I have a playlist called Bedtime Stories on my YT where you can just hit play all or shuffle and fall asleep to all of these stories recorded. Also, recordings of the lives are available on my YT after they end. Oh no, Priscilla. I think Jade, that happened to Jade the other night and she had to update the app. Oh, we got corn. Did I get corn? Oh, sorry, Anna. Michelle, thanks for the blue melody. Gosh, that one's cute. All right, you guys. So the winner is the Marshlight. Sit back and relax, and I will be right back with the story. And if you guys would do me a favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other. And it says repost, and that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Hi, Rhyme. All right, guys, be right back with the Marshlight. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the Marshlight. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Kelly. I took the internship because I needed the credits, and because I thought it would be a quiet summer. That's what I wanted. Something quiet. The job was a tiny nonprofit in a dying Louisiana town called Belmare. Just south of Lake Maurepas. They handled wetland conservation efforts, mostly grant writing, and some seasonal cleanup crews. I'd be staying in a loaned cabin and helping to digitize land records, logging reports on water levels and wildlife sightings. But I should have asked more questions. Belmare didn't show up on most maps. It wasn't quite a ghost town, but it was getting there. The roads were cracked and sun-faded. Gas station pumps were bagged and the post office was boarded up. The only signs of life were a few sagging houses wrapped in moss and kudzu, and an overgrown Catholic cemetery that leaned toward the bayou like it was trying to slide back into the swamp. The nonprofit headquarters was a converted bait shop on stilts, and the woman who ran it was in her 70s and barely looked up from her crossword when I arrived. She handed me a ring of keys and a box of old manila folders and told me that the cabin was on the far edge of the old preserve, but it hadn't been used in years. I drove out there with my windows down, trying to pretend the sweat wasn't soaking through my shirt. The cabin was about 10 minutes from the main road, just a short bridge away from sinking into the marsh. Cypress trees loomed on all sides, their roots tangled in mud, and the smell of sulfur and rot drifted heavy in the air. I remember standing on the porch, looking at the black water beneath the stilts and thinking that if the earth had a throat, this swamp was where it choked. The first night was uneventful, just heat and mosquitoes. I found an old box fan and I plugged it in by the window, set up my laptop, and I fell asleep to the chirr of frogs and the distant pops from the marsh. It was the second night that things started to get strange. I woke up around 3 a.m. to a light outside the window. Not headlights from a car and not a flashlight. It was blue, pale and pulsing faintly like a dying star, just above the waterline. I I sat up slowly and I pressed my face to the window screen. The light hovered maybe 20 feet from the cabin, just beyond the edge of the trees, casting long, watery shadows that rippled across the roots and the grass. It drifted slightly left and then right, and then it vanished. I waited for something to follow, an engine, a voice, anything, but there was nothing. Just the humid air and the sudden absence of the frogs. In the morning, I told myself it must have been swamp gas or a trick of the light. Or maybe I was more tired than I realized. But then, I looked it up. And what I found blew my mind. Will-o'-the-wisp, marsh fire, Ignis fatuus. All old names for the same thing. Mysterious lights that appear over wetlands, and they're supposedly harmless. The next few days passed quietly enough. I digitized a dozen old surveys, took a kayak into the cypress groves. I even spotted a few spoonbills and a nest of baby gators. But something felt wrong. It was too quiet. I hadn't seen a single other person near the cabin since I had arrived, and the nonprofit office had closed early every day. But I chalked it up to heat or disinterest, until I found the folder labeled Marshlight. It was buried under a stack of soil surveys in the back of the office filing cabinet. The kind of thing you only find if you're bored or nosy, and I was both. The label was handwritten in red marker, faded with what looked like water damage on the corners. Inside were 8 printed reports, all local, all describing sightings going back 40 years. The first one was from 1976. A fisherman claiming a blue light followed his boat and capsized it. The next was from 1982. A woman who said her brother wandered into the swamp chasing a lantern and never came back. Others followed years apart, but eerily similar. Lights, disappearances, things in the water. The last was dated 1999. It simply read, "Subject claimed light spoke to her in dead brother's voice. Found wandering 6 miles from camp, feet covered in blood, no sign of brother." None of these were in the digital files I was uploading. Someone had deliberately kept them separate. I asked the old woman at the nonprofit about it the next day. She looked up from her crossword and then muttered something about old stories and locals drinking too much. When I pressed, she snapped and told me I shouldn't go outside at night, especially not near the standing pools. And then she wouldn't look at me again and went back to her crossword. That night I didn't sleep. The light came back. This time, closer. I watched it from the crack in the curtain. How it moved in slow serpentine loops across the water, bobbing like it was searching for something. And then it stopped. right at the edge of the porch. And it hovered there, flickering faintly like breath on glass. I felt cold all over, like the room had been vacuum sealed. And then I heard a scraping on the screen door, like claws on metal mesh. I didn't go outside. I didn't even breathe. The next morning, I found the porch screen torn open. 3 long gashes, low to the floor, and muddy prints. Not human and not animal. Something with hooves. I drove straight to the parish records office. It was a cinder block building next to an abandoned car wash, and the AC barely worked. I found a part-time clerk who let me comb through old reports while he napped in the break room. And that's where I found the name. The Bellmare Devil. Back in the early 1900s, locals believed in a swamp entity that lured people off paths with blue lanterns. They said it mimicked voices, stole faces, and wore the skin of the people it lured. One folklorist from Tulane described it as a cryptid with shape-shifting abilities, capable of assuming familiar forms to draw victims into the water. It wasn't a ghost, and it wasn't a story to keep kids from staying out after dark. It was real. I rushed back to the cabin and I packed everything. Laptop, clothes, everything but the records. I wasn't staying one more night. When I got back, the porch floor was soaked in a dark, viscous water, and it was still wet like whatever had done it had just been there minutes before. I locked myself in the cabin and I called every number I had. But no one answered. Not the nonprofit, not the police, not even my mom. That night, I heard it whispering my name through the walls. At first, I thought maybe it was just a radio or the wind or something, but it definitely said my name. Again and again, like it was practicing how to say it. I pressed my back against the door and I held a kitchen knife in my lap until sunrise. When morning came, I bolted out for my car. But my car was gone. Not vandalized, not broken into, gone. The gravel around it was all disturbed and there were tracks hoofed and deep, like something had dragged my car away. And that's when I lost it. I ran down the road, but the heat and the fear made me dizzy, and I collapsed in a ditch full of reeds and biting flies. I had no choice. I had to go back. I went back to the cabin and I barricaded the door. I found the old propane stove, lit it, and I sat by it like a campfire, knife in hand. And then came the knock. This time, it was rhythmic, knuckles on wood. I didn't move. Thanks, Viola. And then I heard a voice. My mother's voice, called out from outside. She said that she had come to bring me home, and that she was sorry she hadn't answered my calls, and that she was worried about me. But I knew it wasn't her. She lived 3 states away. There was no way she could have gotten here that quickly. Then, I heard another voice. Mine. It was me, outside, crying, pleading to be let in. I covered my ears and I rocked on the floor, and the voices circled the cabin all night, laughing, begging, mimicking, but I didn't open the door. Thank you, Rich. Sometime before dawn, the stove flickered and died. The last thing I saw was the light blue glow rising again through the floorboards, seeping up like fog. And then everything went black. I woke up in a hospital weeks later. They said they had found me on the porch of the cabin, dehydrated, feverish, and repeating my own name over and over again. They said the nonprofit shut down the day I went missing, and the old woman who ran it had vanished, and the property was seized by the state. When I got my belongings back, my lucky red bandana was missing. But in its place was a muddy old scrap of flannel that was not mine. I moved back north and I started going to therapy, and I tried to forget. But last week, I saw a news article. A group of campers had gone missing near Lake Maurepas. The only clue was a picture that one of them uploaded just before disappearing. It showed a dim, marshy landscape and a small, flickering light hovering just above the water and bright blue. And that's the tale of the marshlight. Welcome in, everybody. Hi, Lorna. Thank you, Darren. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until 1 in the morning. I do write and record all of these stories myself, and you can listen to them anytime you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. I do have a bedtime stories playlist on my YT channel. If you go there and look for the playlist tab, you can click on that playlist and hit shuffle or play all, and you will be snoozing probably by the second video. Also, happy Monday. This is New Story Monday, where every Monday I do premiere a live news story on my YT channel at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you to those of you who were able to make it. And don't worry if you couldn't. Thank you, Cats and Coffee. Don't worry if you couldn't. I do read the news story on Mondays live at midnight. So we will be reading that at midnight. And grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock. Sit back and relax, and I'm going to set up the next poll for us to vote for the next story. And welcome to the porch. And if you guys could do me a favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner, there's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Thank you, Darren. You're so sweet. Thank you, Desiree. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Alora. Thanks, Lorna. All right, you guys, I will be right back with the next poll. Happy Monday. All right, you guys, the next poll is ready. We have Highway 13, the Moon-Eyed People, the Deer Woman, the Devil's Tramping Ground, and Professor Hyde. You can vote in the top left-hand corner. There's a blue box, and you can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. Hi, Alora. And we have Highway 13, Moon-Eyed People, Deer Woman, Devil's Tramping Ground, and Professor Hyde. Who's it gonna be? Never, Brittany. He's always invited. Okay, you guys, and the winner is Highway 13. This is an Are You Afraid of the Dark reworking. So sit back and relax. Yeah, here's one, Viola. The Are You Afraid of the Dark stories are exclusive to the live. They are not recorded anywhere except for in live recordings. So sit back and relax. You may have never heard this one. Well, yeah, Lonnie, you guys show up for me every night. The least I can do is give you guys something that, like, you know what I mean? Only you guys get. Hi, April. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of Highway 13. This story is about secondhand things, not thrift store jackets or hand-me-down furniture. Those are harmless. This was about the other kind of secondhand, the kind that carried history soaked deep into the seams, the kind that came with consequences that you didn't agree to, but you inherited. Because sometimes when you take something used, you also take whatever unfinished business is still clinging to it. Evan and Marcus had been friends for almost 20 years. College roommates turned business partners. Evan was steady, cautious, the kind of man who read contracts twice and drove 5 miles under the speed limit. Marcus lived faster. He believed in instinct, impulse, gut decisions made at full throttle. And somehow their friendship had survived the imbalance. It was Marcus who found the car. They were at a liquidation auction on the edge of town, the kind held in an abandoned lot where bank-seized property sat under buzzing lights. Most of the inventory was boring. Filing cabinets, outdated computers, repossessed appliances. But then there was the car. A black 1970s muscle coupe. Low to the ground. Long hood, aggressive lines. It didn't look wrecked. It didn't look salvaged. It honestly looked perfect, almost too perfect. The paperwork listed it as impounded property recovered after an unresolved fatality case. No next of kin had claimed it. That should have been enough to walk away, but Marcus didn't. He saw potential. He saw freedom. But Evan saw trouble. Marcus was already circling it, picturing himself behind the wheel. He talked about flipping it, restoring it, selling it to a collector. Big profit, quick turnaround. Evan knew Marcus's version of quick usually meant reckless. But they ended up buying it anyway. The first strange thing wasn't mechanical. The engine purred beautifully. No grinding, no knocks, no red flags under the hood. The strange thing was the smell. It smelled like burnt rubber. Marcus insisted on taking it out that evening. Just a short drive, just to feel it. Evan reluctantly agreed to ride along. They didn't plan to take Highway 13. Highway 13 had a reputation. It was a narrow 2-lane stretch that cut through marshland outside the city. Long curves, poor lighting. More roadside memorial crosses than mile markers. Locals said the fog rolled in fast there even when the rest of the county was clear. They ended up there by accident. At least, that's what Marcus claimed. And the fog began gradually. A thin haze at first, and then denser. Then thick enough that the world beyond the headlights dissolved into a blank gray. The radio clicked with static, and Evan told Marcus to turn around. But Marcus laughed it off. And then the truck appeared. An 18-wheeler in the rearview mirror. No company logo. No reflective tape. Just matte darkness and 2 pale headlights cutting through the fog. It hadn't been there a second earlier. Marcus sped up and the truck matched him. The fog thickened until the world felt enclosed, sealed off from everything beyond that stretch of pavement. Then the road sign emerged ahead. Bridge. 1 lane. Evan's stomach dropped. The truck's engine roared louder, and Marcus's expression shifted into something competitive and provoked. The truck surged forward, just enough to threaten their lane. It became clear very quickly that this was not random traffic behavior. This was a challenge. Evan told Marcus to pull over, to let it pass. But Marcus refused. The bridge loomed ahead, narrow and old. Steel railings rusted through in places. There was not enough room for 2 vehicles. And then the truck accelerated. And Marcus did too. As they neared the bridge, Evan noticed something in the reflection of the windshield. 2 faint silhouettes in the back seat. Passengers. Figures barely visible, as if they were lit from within by a dim gray light. 2 young men, silent and watching the road ahead. Marcus pushed harder on the accelerator and the trunk's horn blared. They reached the mouth of the bridge at the same time, and Evan braced for impact. But Marcus hesitated. Just for a fraction of a second. But in that second, something shifted. The silhouettes in the back seats' expression changed, and Marcus slammed on the brakes. But the truck did not. It passed right through them. Not around, through. Metal met metal in a burst of white noise and impossible physics. But instead of crushing steel, the truck dissolved into mist as it tore across the hood. And then the bridge was suddenly empty. The fog thinned and the engine idled softly as if nothing had happened. And in the rearview mirror, the silhouettes were gone. Marcus sat frozen, hands locked on the wheel. And Evan realized that this had happened before. They drove home in silence. The next morning, the car wouldn't start. Not because it was broken, but because it was done. They had it towed back to the impound lot and signed it over without even asking for the money back. And the clerk seemed confused, as though she didn't remember auctioning it off in the first place. Weeks later, Evan found an article buried in digital archives. A fatal collision on Highway 13 decades ago. A young man and his best friend racing an 18-wheeler toward a one-way bridge. The car lost control and the truck driver survived, but neither of the young men in the car did. Locals say that you can see the race replaying over and over again on really foggy nights. Sometimes, surviving isn't about winning. Sometimes it's about being mature enough to refuse to even play the game. Yeah, you hear Merlin's bell. He's so cute. Sorry guys, that's Merlin's little bell. And that's the tale of Highway 13. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Antiana. Welcome in. Thank you, Unpopular Opinion. Thank you, Viola. Let me let Merlin out. He is jingling around the room. Okay, guys, Merlin is debelled. He wanted to stay inside in the room, so I just took his bell off. And welcome in, everybody, if you're new here. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore, and I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all of these stories myself, and you can listen to them whenever you want on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. Hi, Sociology Doctor. Thank you. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Jess. Thank you, guys. Hi, Rochelle. Yeah, now he's in stealth mode, but he's chugging his water. So not really. He loves to chug his water in the middle of my live. I have no idea why. He doesn't drink it like all day. And then as soon as I go live, he's like, because I give him a water bowl in my room too. He has water bowls like in the kitchen and my room. And it's like, Anyway. Hi, Angela. He was in bed. He was sleeping, and then he just woke up and went and chugged his water. He probably need to go back to sleep after this. Yeah, he's just trying to get my attention, I think. Rose, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the porch. All right, you guys. I'm going to set up the next poll. And I will be right back, and we can vote for the next story. You're so cute, April. I love that. You're so cute. I'll teach you anything you want to know about animals. You're so cute. You said, what time does he go to bed? Cats kind of just sleep whenever they want, all day and all night long. So they're just like, when they call it a cat nap, cats will just nap all the time. They just sleep for like an hour or two, and then they wake up and then they go back to sleep for a while, and then they wake back up. So they kind of just do it. Yeah, like you, Skrilla, for sure. So, Laura, he has more than 5 minutes of fame. He hangs out on the live on Wednesdays, because on Wednesdays I'm on live on camera during the day, and he always comes and says hi, and he put his paws in the camera last week. Hi, Sasha. Oh, Holly, thanks. That's so sweet. Yeah, with a lot of people in here and all of us sharing information, we do learn something every night. I know. I love when he does too, Mary. He's so cute. He likes to make himself known. Merlin, they're talking about you. Aw, he knows. You know what he just did? If you have a cat, you guys know the move. He just did the flop onto his back, and he put his head upside down. You know when they know that you're talking about them? Yeah, you. And then he just did. Now he's straight on his back, and he has all 4 paws like folded. Do you know what I'm talking about? Look at you. He looks like a little egg roll. Oh, Merlin, you're so cute. Oh. You want to know why? I may or may not have dusted his new cat bed and catnip, because I bought him 2 expensive cat beds. He literally acted like I was like drowning him in a bathtub or something when I tried to put him in a cat bed. So I returned both of those, and then I got a really small one on clearance that's shitty, thinking cats don't like fancy things. They'll literally lay in a box. So maybe he'll just like this weird lumpy one. And so I sprinkled catnip all over it, and he's laying in the middle of the floor, you guys. Hi. And he's straight on his back, staring at the ceiling, and all 4 of his paws are bent, like the way, I don't even know how to explain it. Like he's folded them, like, it's so cute. He's feeling really good. Oh my God, he's so cute. Anyway, yeah, yep. upside down biscuit. Yep, that's what he's doing. He has his little paws folded, and he's just laying there, straight on his back, staring at the ceiling. He's not even moving. My God, he's so cute. He's such a lump. Okay, anyway. I'm going to set up the next poll for us to vote for the next story. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, he's feeling really, really nice. You want to know a fun fact, guys? The same herb that is in catnip is in fact, okay, so it makes cats hyper, right? Catnip makes cats like cracked out, right? Well, that same herb is used in sleepy time tea for humans. Isn't that funny? So the same herb that makes cats go crazy and spastic. Oh, Rachie, I didn't see the paw print. Did you see it? I was also, sorry, I was just switching the thing, so maybe I missed it. So it makes us go to sleep, and it makes cats really hyper. Oh, there's the paw print. Yep, it just popped up. Because I was swiped out. I saw it. I'm so glad I do that. I have another phone that swipes out, so I can like see the gifts I miss. No, not chamomile. It's called valerian. That's what I was just looking up when I had swiped out. It's called valerian. Yeah, thank you, Rachie. Not thank me. Thank you. It's called valerian. Yep, there you go, Tracy. And yep, there you go, Sarah. Yep, valerian root. And that makes cats super hyper. And it makes us like conk out. Isn't that funny? So that's just to show you that, because I know a lot of people are just like, oh, my cat can eat this or my cat can do. They do not have the same systems as humans at all. So just a reminder, the things your cat can tolerate and can't tolerate are not the same as you. And they may have a completely opposite effect on your cat. So, me too, Tracy? Yeah. They, oh my God, thank you, baby firefly. So yeah. So, just think that's isn't that an interesting fact? I thought so too, April. So when you look at the sleepy time tea on the side, it tells you valerian root. And then if you have a cat, you can literally like hand them a tea bag and they just like to roll around with it for a little bit. And then their pupils get all big and they go hyper. It's just like a natural, like, I don't even know. It wouldn't be weed. It's like a natural stimulant to them. Yeah, isn't that funny? I mean, obviously the tea bags have more than just that in it, so it's not a very high concentration. But anyway, I'll be right back with the next poll. And thank you to everybody who's reposting and sharing. Oh my gosh, yes, Rachie, celery top leaves. They will go crazy over it. They love it. And I mean, I do too. I love the way it smells. Skrilla said, Devin's my catnip. Another funny thing, you know what cats don't like? Cucumbers. If you show a cat a cucumber, they freak out. Don't know why, but they like, I think they think it's a snake. And they're naturally like weary of snakes. But give it a goog. Look up cats with cucumbers. It's crazy how they react. I've never tried it with my cats because I'm not that kind of cat mom. I don't want to freak out my cats, but give it a goog and they will. I've heard they freak out. Did it work, Mary? Yeah, that's true, Duck. You're probably right. It doesn't affect your cat. He sniffs it. It is hilarious. Wait, did it affect your cat, Mary? Your cat does too? Freaked out by accident? You found out by accident? Yeah. Yeah, I think most people found out by accident, and that's how they like made all those videos. So it's like, you just looked at you like you're crazy. You just didn't even care. That's funny. So some cats don't care. I think Merlin would care. I think my cat Ansel probably wouldn't have cared. Alfie probably wouldn't have cared, but Merlin, I think. He's a precious little baby. He gets scared of things. Hi, Zoot Suit. She didn't give a shit. That's so funny. She went into the grocery bags and then she's like, wah! Okay, guys, the next poll is ready. Your wife said, wait, what? Is that the sexy voice lady ghost story thing again? Rich, tell your wife I said hi. Hello. I'm not trying to be sexy. This is just my voice, I promise. Tell your wife I said hi. Tell her it's just my voice. I just have a very low register voice for a woman. And it's raspy. All right, here we go. The next poll is ready. Ooh, Michelle. Summer glass. That was like a summer snow globe. That was so cute. Hi, Bossling. Welcome in. Thanks, Viola. I appreciate that. That was so cute, wasn't it, April? Well, I think it's comforting because, and I think the same reason it's sexy is because I think for some reason people associate like the deeper, calmer voice with like confidence. Like don't worry, I got it. You know, like I know what I'm doing. So like I think the same reason that it's comforting to you guys is the same reason some people might find it sexy, is because I think it might emulate confidence. Because, and I don't know why, I'm sure it's something with going back to misogyny, like patriarchy or something, that we associate confidence with a deeper register voice than the higher register voice, because I don't really think that has anything to do with it. Yes, Rachie, you know what is so funny is that is such a compliment, and I have been compared to her my entire life, and that is like the highest praise. Thank you so much. I have a friend who used to, when I was a model and I was a lot skinnier than I am now, I had a friend who used to call me that all the time. So thank you. Interesting, right, Holly? Yeah. That's like at least what I've deducted from it. Because if you ask anybody how they feel about high register voices, they all kind of say the same thing. They aren't taken as seriously. They, you know what I mean? I think there's something to that. Mary, me too. I've actually been offered jobs to do that. And I look back now, I'm like, man, why didn't I do that? Shit. Could have had money. Okay, oh, thank you, Rachie. All right, you guys, the poll is ready. We have Huggin' Molly. I think it's staying within a certain tone range, low fluctuation. Well, I do have a very monotone voice. My friend used to call it bitchatone. My old roommate used to be like, don't talk to me in your bitchatone. And I'd be like, okay, whatever. Anyway, so we have Huggin' Molly, the Moon-Eyed People, the Midnight Movie, the Lubbock Lights, and the Last Summer Carnival. And you can vote in the top left-hand corner. And you can vote up to 50 times. And you can vote for more than one story. Well, my friend used to ask me to like be stern with people. She'd be like, use your bitch tone. I'd be like, okay. Like with customer service people and stuff. Hi, Tina Togs. I really did, Skrilla. I did my boss's voicemails before. Tracy, thank you for the hand hearts and the level up sparks. Rachie, thank you for the paw scratch. Sorry if I thank you guys for your gifts delayed. I have a third phone that like I have it swiped out. So if I miss gifts while I'm setting up the polls, I can thank you guys later. So thank you. I always end up seeing them. Just might be 10 minutes later. Beefy, the one from Twilight Zone was Talkie Tina. Not Talking Tina. Talkie Tina. Get it right. And the winner is the Last Summer Carnival. Thank you for the Divine Fingers Siren and the Rosa. Welcome in. Hi, Rainbows. Thanks for the populars. Hi, Reverend. Welcome back. All right, the winner is the Last Summer Carnival. And a carnival literally just set up this past weekend, a block from my house. I'm not gonna lie. If I wasn't doing the live every night, I would go. Because daytime carnivals, but I like when it's night. I like them at dark when the lights are all glowy and pretty. And I am one of those people. Hi, Misty. Wait, am I being sassy right now? I don't think so. I could, Holly. Do they, Rachie? Oh. After you asked me what, Skrilla? But anyway, so, I would like to go. I like when they're nighttime, but I am one of those people. A Lovely said, I'm going to need you to go and have fun. I suppose I could do like a live from there. Maybe like special, like not stories, but hang out with Devin, fall asleep at a carnival. But I am one of those people where I win stuffed animals a lot. Hi DJ. I actually can win claw machines. There's a fun fact. I once put that on a million bazillion years ago, when I entertained the idea of dating online, which was literally like 15 years ago. I put that on my interesting fact about me. I can win claw machines pretty regularly. Oh my god, that's so cute. Sandy, I've never seen that one. Thanks. But I can also win the carnival stuffed animals. But it depends on the game. Certain games I can win, certain games I can't. Isn't that random? Video poker machines, really, Deborah? Good for you. We'll see, Scrollo. Hi, Mystic. All right, guys, the winner is the last summer carnival, so I will be right back. Yeah, Gigi, I do. I like rides. Depending on the ride. Oh, that was cute. Thanks, Bisbee. I'm good, Mystic. Yes, that one, the water pewees. Yep, I am good at that one. I'm good at anything also that has to do with, like, you're gonna laugh, but I used to live like, I don't know, I used to be a party girl, and anything that has to do with symmetry, like beer pong, right? Or bowling, right? Anything where I can eyeball it. Like when you re-rack the cups, it makes me invincible. But when they're uneven, I can't do shit. So like I'm very good at games where symmetry is part of it because I can eyeball it. Does that make sense? Me too, lovely. I'll win the shit out of some beer pong. Yep, bottleneck toss. Yep. So I'm good at even like the one where you, what is it? Where you slide the ball up into the thingies. Not pool. The one where you like roll. I'm actually not very good at pool. Where you roll I can't get the stick right. I'm not very coordinated with I don't know why. Skee ball. There you go. Thanks. There you go. Skee ball. Yep. So yeah. So games like that, I'm pretty good at those when it's like symmetry. But if it's games for like, I don't know, strength, I don't even know what other kind of games they have, but those probably not ones I'm winning. All right, be right back with the carnival. Yeah, Gigi, I don't mind most coasters, but it depends. I am terrified of heights, but if I'm not restrained, like if I'm not like tied into something, if I'm just like free, well, like even on the like roofs of high buildings, looking over the edge, like I'm literally actually phobic, like terrified of heights. Like my body gets all tingly. If you're scared of heights, you know what I'm talking about. Your body goes into like this weird tingling thing where it tells you like you're not supposed to fucking be that high. And I freak out. Like I literally had to climb a ladder, a handmade hammered with nails and wooden planks ladder in the middle of the jungle up on top of a ziplining platform. I don't know if anybody's done that before, but they are completely open ladder, like a ladder you have to hang on to, like a ladder up to a wooden structure that you zipline from. And I was with an entire group of people at a wedding, and halfway up the ladder, guess what? I was the person that literally I froze and I couldn't keep going because I looked down and I saw the jungle. And I freaked out and froze. And my friend Landon had to climb down halfway the ladder and talk me into going up the rest of the ladder. I eventually did it because I can overcome my fear mentally usually. But I thought I was going to die. And oh my God, look how cute he is on the dandelion, Michelle. Thanks, Wanderlust. And like I like froze, and we were like holding up a whole nother group of people while they like talked me down for half an hour. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like talked me up actually for half an hour. Then I did it. Once I'm attached to the zipline thing, I'm fine. But it's like having to rely on myself to not fall is like, it doesn't feel like vertigo. It feels like terrified of heights. What's cataplexy? I don't know what that is, but I straight up froze. Like when it's reliant on me not falling. You lose muscle function too. That may be it. But I actually ended up being able to go up. But I freaked out. And like, yeah. But it's only when like if I'm in a roller coaster strapped in, I'm fine. It's only when I'm like not secured into something and I have to rely on myself to not die. Do you know what I'm saying? But it depends on the roller coaster, because some of them look sketchy and some of them like, no, I'm not going to be the person stuck on that upside down. So it's acrophobic. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Like I would never do a tightrope in a bazillion, never in a million years. None of that. Yeah. And looking down. Well, and I also like, it's not that bad now that I've gotten older, but like I used to like, even like, you know, like the stairways that are open, you can like see through each stair. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't like that. I'm not freaking out about it, but it makes me feel tingly and I'm not a fan. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Yep. And I'm literally not scared of cryptids. And I'm not kidding. Ask anybody who's grown up with me, my friends who grew up with me come in here all the time. I am literally pretty much like the way I write my stories. I am extremely adventurous, somewhat reckless in terms of, I'm very Sagittarius. I like adventure and fun. And so I am very much not scared of pretty much anything except for heights and looking through stairs. Like, it's the weirdest thing to be scared of. And I have no idea. I heard it's like through your ancestors. It was inherited if you lived somewhere where there were mountains or something, like to be scared of heights on purpose so you don't die. But Sherry, you're a Sag too. Are you adventurous? And also like not super open with your emotions romantically, but then super emotional with your friends and like to have fun, but also smart. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the last summer carnival. Yes, Amy, I have. What is their problem? What is their problem, Amy? What are they doing? Like, why are they doing that? Hi, Junior. Where have you been? Welcome back, friend. Hello, Tom. Right, Amy? Like, what? They need to stop it. Like, pick a new place to live, weirdos. We're talking about mountain goats, by the way, you guys. They're insane. I lived in Colorado, and they're insane. All right. Lulu and I took the long way on purpose. It was late July, the kind of summer that felt endless and indulgent, when responsibilities loosen their grip and the road feels like an invitation. Oh my God, Junior, you were in jail? Are you okay? We were halfway through a road trip that had no strict itinerary, just a vague plan to drive until we were tired and stop when something interesting presented itself. Windows down, heat humming off the asphalt. The car filled with that sun-baked smell of sunscreen, fabric seats, and cheap iced coffee. We were already a little lost when we saw the lights. They appeared suddenly, just beyond the curve, bright and colorful against the encroaching dusk. Reds and yellows and whites blinking in patterns that felt almost rhythmic, like they were breathing. A Ferris wheel silhouette rose above the tree line, its spokes lit evenly, rotating slow and steady. High winter. There was no sign announcing it, no banner or billboards advertising dates or prices. Just a narrow gravel turnout and the distant, unmistakable glow of a carnival. We hadn't seen another car in miles, and it felt spontaneous and perfect in a way that only summer detours ever do. We pulled off, gravel crunching under the tires, and the heat of the day finally starting to break as the sun slipped lower. The air smelled like cut grass and warm dirt layered with something sweet drifting toward us like sugar and oil. The closer we walked, the quieter everything became. But then we heard the carnival music swell and fade as it was carried through the wind. The lights looked older up close. Bulbs slightly clouded, wiring exposed in places where it probably shouldn't have been. Still, the place felt alive, busy, full. People moved between attractions, but not in a chaotic way. There was an order to it. It almost felt rehearsed. Everyone seemed to know where they were going. Lulu commented on how quiet it was, how she had expected more noise. But I shrugged it off thinking, well, maybe it's just a small local thing winding down for the night. Hi, Jade. The ground beneath our feet was packed dirt instead of pavement, worn smooth by years of foot traffic. I noticed there was no ticket booth at the entrance, and no prices listed anywhere, so we just wandered in. The first game we passed involved glass bottles stacked impossibly high. The attendant stood motionless. The prizes hanging above were sun-faded stuffed animals, their smiles permanently stitched and their fur dulled from exposure. When someone stepped up to play, the attendant moved smoothly, efficiently, without any of the exaggerated gestures or encouragement, and the bottles fell the same way every time. It was weird. As we kept moving deeper, I started to notice patterns that felt off in small, easy to dismiss kinds of ways. Like no one carried drinks or food, despite the smell of popcorn and fried dough lingering in the air. The rides operated continuously, never stopping completely, their operators switching places seamlessly as if they had rehearsed the handoffs. Faces passed us again and again, familiar without being recognizable, like they were circling through a limited cast. Eventually, the Ferris wheel drew us in. From below, the lights were almost hypnotic, rotating in slow, deliberate cycles. The ride operator gestured for us to step forward. Movements precise, economical. The metal of the seat was warm, but not from the sun, from constant use. As we rose higher, the carnival spread out beneath us in a neat glowing grid. Beyond its edge, the darkness pressed in thick and complete. There were no visible roads, no distant towns, no other lights anywhere on the horizon. At the top, the wheel slowed, lingering longer than expected. From that height, I noticed something unsettling. The carnival didn't cast shadows the way it should have. The lights illuminated surfaces, but the ground beneath people's feet remained evenly lit. When we descended and stepped off, I felt a strange relief, like I had been holding my breath the whole time without realizing it. We wandered past a sideshow tent next, its canvas patched and yellowed. Inside, displays lined the walls, telling stories through photographs and artifacts. Performers and workers were featured prominently, their names written beneath their images. Dates were included, but they didn't follow any logical progression. Some spanned decades, others ended abruptly. I noticed that no one seemed to age between the photographs. Faces remained consistent, expressions unchanged. Lulu lingered longer than I did, checking out the displays. We didn't say anything about it, but we both understood that we should just keep moving. The longer we stayed, the more tired we felt, like the place was leaching out all of our energy. We both felt drained. Time felt elastic there. I couldn't tell how long we'd been there. Only that the sky beyond the lights never fully darkened or brightened. It just stayed the same. The carnival existed in its own suspended twilight. We passed a row of trailers near the back. Laundry hung from lines strung between them. And I realized that I hadn't seen anyone leave the carnival. People arrived at attractions, moved between them, but never exited toward the road. And that was when I realized this place wasn't traveling. It wasn't temporary. Near what looked like an employee area, a bulletin board caught my attention. Flyers were pinned in neat rows. They advertised openings, positions available. Join the family, become part of the show. The language was welcoming but vague. But what struck me the most was the age of the paper. Some notices were decades old, layered beneath newer ones that looked identical. In that moment, we both realized that maybe this place wasn't safe. So we turned back toward the entrance, moving faster now, but trying not to draw any attention. And that was when I noticed the staff was watching us. Not overtly, but just tracking our movements by subtle repositioning to keep an eye on us. The carnival music swelled louder now. We started passing familiar attractions, and it felt like we were looping. Near the Ferris wheel, I saw a familiar face among the staff. Someone I could have sworn we had passed earlier as a guest. Their expression was serene and fixed. Their eyes were glazed over like they were in a trance. Hi, CK. And that was when the realization finally started to sink in. The people working here weren't employees. They were retained, kept, recruited into permanence. The carnival didn't hire people. It claimed them. At that point, we broke into a run, pushing past bodies when the exit appeared suddenly. The gravel path re-emerging like a lifeline. No one followed us beyond the edge. The lights dimmed the moment we crossed back into the darkness and the music cut off mid-note. We reached the car breathless with our hands shaking. The engine roared to life and I gunned it. As we pulled away, the glow of the carnival receded quickly, swallowed by trees and night as if it had never existed. We drove for miles after that in complete silence. Neither of us spoke. I think we were both in shock. Later, when the adrenaline faded, we started to piece together what we had noticed. The staff never aged. The job postings never expired. It wasn't a business. It was a waiting room. We never found that carnival again. No matter how much we searched, no maps or local records acknowledged it ever even existed. But sometimes, in the height of the summer, when the night air smells like sugar and oil, I think about how close we came. And I wonder, how many others saw those carnival lights and were never seen again? Thank you, Siren. Thank you, CK. Thank you, Jade. And that's the tale of the last summer carnival. And yeah, I saw your comment, Beefy. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. If you're new here, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all of these stories myself, and they are all available for you to listen to when I am not live on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. Also, all the links are in my bio. Also, a shout out to those of you listening on YT and Twitch. I am also cross-streaming over there. Thanks for being here. Aw, thank you, Mace. Hi, Josie. And one of my OG TikTok friends is in the house tonight. CK, hi. Thank you, Crystal. Jade. You guys missed it. CJ dropped a Justin Dancer name in the premiere tonight on YT, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious. Good night, Lorna. Sweet dreams. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Welcome in, everybody. I'll have to go back and check the live comments. You can look at the live comments, Justin, if you swipe over from the comment section. Don't worry, Mace, I'm about to read it. Also, if you guys could do me a big favor, could you hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner? There is a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost, and that puts my live onto your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow our beautiful porch. Good night, Desiree. Sweet dreams. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Also, it's Monday. It's New Story Monday. Every Monday I premiere a new story, and we do a live premiere on my YT channel at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you to all the Porch Pals who joined us. Yeah. Hi, Sage. And it is after 12 now, so I will be reading for the first time live the new story of the night. Uh-oh, what did you try, Mary? Mary, what happened? Oh, to make the premiere, that's fine. I know it's like right at dinner time for a lot of people. Holly, thank you for the corgi booty, Holly. Not only did you make it, you brought a corgi booty back with you. Or did you mean you didn't think you were going to make the premiere? What's dinner? Thank you, Shelly. Welcome to the porch. Spooky cabins. You're an hour ahead of me. Where do you live? The ocean? Oh, you're in Canada. So you do live in the ocean. I'm just kidding. Hi, Felix. It's not Christmas. You said yes, huh? I think I just laughed too hard at the ocean, right? Like, no, because he's like an hour. I'm on East Coast time, but he's East Coast Canadian, and I forgot. I'm like, oh yeah. Hi, Joker. Welcome back. Long time no see. Hi, Sarah Barra. Welcome in. Welcome to the porch, guys. Yeah, in the lake. Freshwater only. Well, because I'm like, wait, what time zone is east of me? And I'm thinking like the ocean. But yeah, it could be Quebec or would it be Nova Scotia? You're in Belfast, Shelley. Hello. I have an Irish folklore story of the Selkies. I'll have to put it on the next poll. Maybe it'll win. That's okay, Joker. We're glad to have you back. Anna, yeah, some porch pals do sit on the real porches. It's 1:30 a.m. Oh, Sarah. Cool. You knew what, CK? All right, guys, grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, check out the shooting stars, and I'll be right back with the new story. And nope, Felix. Well, now it's Tuesday, I guess, but not for everybody in the United States. Really, Jade? What did I do? Also, Felix, it's not Christmas, so like, maybe correct yourself, boo-boo. Yeah, see, it's still 11 in Alabama. Oh, you knew he was from Nova Scotia. You were right. And it's only 9:10 for Venus. Happy birthday, Catherine. Yeah, but it's not July, Siren. It's June. It's 9 p.m. in Portland. 10 for Desiree. So it is still Monday, Felix. Me too, Lily. It's like my dream house, right? Hi, CK. Yeah. T-Witch, cool. I think you're probably like the only person watching me over there. I'm very new over there, so I don't even know how to share it or anything. But thanks. Hey. I'm glad you're hanging out. I miss you. I hope you come back more often. I miss you. Yeah. A lot of people prefer the different layouts depending. Hunter, all of my YT videos move. So if you watch my YT, all of these backgrounds move. The fireflies move, everything. So every single story, every single story has moving. The reincarnation house that catches on fire in that story, in my YT videos, it catches on fire. So just a reminder to everybody, on TT, I just come over here to read my stories live, but this is just like a condensed live version of my much higher quality content that is on the YT. So these are just kind of like hang out live, read the story, but the real quality storytelling is on my YT or on all of the podcast streaming sites. There are graphics, special effects, all kinds of stuff. Yep. Yeah. So, and I have a bedtime stories playlist on my YT channel that you can hit like shuffle or play all and loop it, and you can fall asleep to all night. It'll never stop playing, and you probably won't make it past the second story because I am even not immune to my own voice, and I fall asleep to them. So, missing the pre-story movie intros. What does that mean? I feel like nothing you're saying tonight makes any sense to me, Skrilla. What are you talking about? Like, use words that I'll understand. Pre-story movie intros. What do you mean? Hi, John. I don't know. Oh, you meant the people are missing out. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Oh, the pre-story, movie intros. I don't know what that means, but thank you. Oh, the countdown. Oh yeah, the pre-story intro. I get what he's saying. The cool countdown I do at the beginning. I get it. The movie quality. Thank you, Skrilla. That's sweet. I know they have a character limit. I get what he's saying now. Thank you, CK. Denise, most of the newer stories, yes. The older stories, no. I had to change to copyrighted music eventually. Before I was just doing, like, I had permission and I could credit the guy's music, but then that's no longer a possibility because of greed and AI being the thing that scans music rights. So now all of the newer stories use one of 3 songs, primarily this one, because they're licensed to me. You love which one, CK? So yeah, the newer stories will all have this music, but the older stories all have different songs. All right, guys, quick swig and I'll be right back. Oh, right, CK, yeah, we love TikTok Shop. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of Haint Blue. Hi, Amy. The house was never supposed to be mine. When my grandmother died, nobody in the family wanted the old mountain house except me. And that surprised everyone. It surprised me too. I hadn't been back to Black Ridge in almost 15 years. Not since I left for college. Not since I built a life somewhere flatter, louder, brighter. Somewhere without winding roads and thick woods pressing against every window. But grief does strange things. It rearranges memory. It makes old places feel magnetic. So, 3 months after the funeral, I packed my car and I drove back into the mountains. The house sat exactly where it always had. Half hidden by dogwoods and hemlocks, perched on a rise overlooking a narrow valley. White siding, green shutters, an amazing wraparound porch. And that porch ceiling? Blue. And not sky blue, not cheerful blue. A strange blue-gray, almost ghostly in certain light. In Appalachia, we call it Haint Blue. I remember asking my grandmother about it as a kid. Why blue? She never answered directly. She just said that it keeps the haints out. Appalachian elders rarely explained the folklore that had woven its way into our modern lives. Sometimes belief and routine fuse so completely that there isn't really a difference anymore. You painted the porch blue. You didn't whistle after dark. You didn't answer voices from the woods. And you never invited something in unless you knew exactly what it was. I spent the first week there cleaning. Dust everywhere. Boxes, old furniture. The kind of work that exhausts your body enough to quiet your mind. At night, I'd sit with all the windows open and soak in the mountain sounds. The groan of old wood as the night breeze crept through the trees. Owls, crickets, the babbling creek. It all felt familiar, comforting. Until the knocking started. It happened about a week after I got there. 3 knocks, soft behind me. I was washing dishes when I heard it coming from the porch door. I looked outside and nothing, just darkness. I opened the door and a cool night breeze brushed past me, and no one was there. So I shut the door, locked it, and I went to bed. The next night, the same thing. 3 knocks. This time I didn't open the door. I just peeked through the drapes and there was nothing outside. By the 4th night, I was officially unnerved. So I called my mom. and I asked her if my grandma had ever mentioned anything weird about the house. Then she sighed and asked if I was hearing 3 knocks. How did she know? Another pause. And then she asked me if the porch ceiling was still painted blue. I stared at the porch ceiling and confirmed that it was faded, but it was still, in fact, blue. But what does that matter? Then my mother began to explain. My grandmother repainted that porch ceiling every spring because she said that something kept coming to her door. But she never said what that thing was. That night I didn't sleep much. I sat in the living room with every light on. And the 3 knocks came again. And then I heard it. A woman's voice. Soft and gentle, coming from outside. Thank you, baby firefly. It was my grandmother's voice. Sweetie? My heart stopped. Tears instantly filled my eyes. Sweetie, open the door. Every instinct told me not to, but my grief screamed louder than reason. So I walked toward the door, my hand shaking. Her voice trembled now. My hands are cold. Tears ran down my face. It sounded exactly like her. Every rasp, every cadence, every tiny breath. My hand touched the lock, and then something resurfaced in my memory. Me, at 6 years old, sitting beside Grandma on that porch swing. Her voice was low and serious. If something outside sounds like somebody you love, it ain't. I snatched my hand back from that lock. Outside, the voice stopped and silence followed. And then slowly, the doorknob turned. Once, twice, 3 times. My blood turned to ice. It was trying to get in. And then the voice returned, with no warmth now. It still sounded my grandmother, but wrong. Why won't you let me in? I backed away. The wood around the door creaked with pressure, like something was leaning against it. And then I heard scratching, deliberate down the wood like fingernails. I quietly ran upstairs and I barricaded myself in a room. The scratching continued for hours. Morning finally came, and I forced myself downstairs. It was gone, but the front door had 4 long gouges in the wood. I almost left that day, but then I found something in my grandmother's sewing room. A notebook, her handwriting. recipes, bills, garden notes, and then one page written in thick black pen, 4 lines. It learns voices. Do not answer it. Do not invite it in. And if the blue fades, repaint immediately. My stomach dropped. I ran outside and I looked up at the porch ceiling. Yep, the blue paint was peeling and faded. Bare wood showed through in patches. Holly. I drove into town to buy paint in the color my grandmother called haint blue. The hardware store owner, an old man named Virgil, watched as I placed the paint cans on the counter, and then he asked, "You paint your Mama's porch?" I stared at him for a minute, and then he said, "Now you be sure to paint it before night settles in." That was all he said. So I listened to him, and I raced home. By sunset, I was almost done. Brush strokes, fresh blue, steady hands, almost finished. And then I heard a voice behind me. My own voice. Hey, turn around. Every hair on my body stood up. And then again, my exact voice. I said, turn around. I didn't turn around. I just kept painting, my heart slamming, my breath shaking. "Why won't you look at me?" I ignored it. I could hear the footsteps on the wood behind me. The porch groaned. Whatever stood there stood on the porch with me. I painted faster. I only had one little section left. Just keep painting. Don't turn around. As my brush made the final stroke of that magical blue paint, I heard something behind me shriek. Something ancient. The sound vibrated the porch, screaming in 100 stolen voices. And then silence. Complete silence. That was a year ago. I still live here. And every spring, I will repaint the porch ceiling. Every inch. No exceptions. Tonight, I finished in a bit of a rush. I was running behind. Fresh haint blue, pretty good coverage if I do say so myself. And I felt safe. Until 10 minutes ago, someone knocked 3 times. Then from the other side of the door, I heard brush strokes and fresh wet paint. And then I heard my voice chuckling while saying, "Hey, you missed a spot." And that's the tale of Haint Blue. And that is the new story of the week. And that is in fact, folklore I grew up with, and yes, it is true. Where I grew up, people that if you look under the top of their wraparound porches or any porch that overhangs, odds are you will see that ceiling is in fact blue. And if you are in the chat and you grew up with that too, let me know, because it is still very much a belief in Appalachia and I'm sure other places, and it is still very much practiced, as well as the blue glass bottle trees, the haint bottle trees that capture the spirits inside the blue glass. And I'm sure you've seen those blue glass bottle trees or bushes. That is the same concept. Yep, so that is very old Appalachian witch folklore that I grew up with. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Holly. All right, guys, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore, and I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. If you guys could do me a big favor while I set up the next poll for us to vote, if you could hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs and helps us grow our beautiful porch. And yes, Beefy already mentioned the hate trees. And thank you, Ethel. Yes, witch balls as well, Rochelle. And I will be right back. I grew up in North Carolina, Amy. I'll be right back with the next poll. Thanks for sharing it out. Thanks for reposting. And thank you for the taps. And I used to be a news reporter and I took non-regional diction classes. So a lot of you commenting on my Southern accent, that is because it's real. That's because that's what I used to sound like when I was young. So it is something I can turn back on pretty easily because that is my native tongue. Thank you, Code Red, for the Cupid Koala. I appreciate it. Yes, Jasmine, all over the South. Absolutely. Absolutely. April for sure. Hi, Jasmine. I was just thinking about you today. I swear you read my mind. Hi, cutie. I miss you. Aw, thanks for stopping in, CK. Love you and miss you. I'm so glad you came and said hi. Get some rest. I hope you feel better. Hope you are feeling better. Thank you, Anton. That's so sweet. Callie Lumberjack, I write all of these stories myself, so no. But we do have vampire stories. What's the whoa, whoa, whoa? Oh, got it. Got it. Thank you. It looks like she said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Which I honestly don't know how to spell it either. So I wouldn't know how to spell it. Thank you for the vocal bear, Code Red. I wouldn't know how to spell the music either. Oh, I get it. I get it. She was saying, okay, yeah. Thanks. Thanks, lovely. Thank you for translating. Thank you. Like that. What, Callie Lumberjack? Where do I sound familiar from? Oh, yeah. Hi. It is me from YT. How you doing? Welcome in. I'm glad you found us. Yeah, I'm glad you found me here. I'm live every night, 10 p.m. But I am also live on YT. All right, guys, the poll is under review. Apparently they are, Lumberjack. That's funny. Oh, I love that so much too, lovely. That makes my heart really happy. Oh my god. Yay. Okay, can they approve my poll? Why do they do this sometimes randomly? Like, it's like, just come on. Why is the poll under review? Like, give me a break, TikTok. Be right back, guys. I'll just redo the poll. Yeah, he is fun. And he's a lumberjack. TikTok's always extra. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to redo the poll. Okay, well, the poll is still under review. So while that's happening, could you guys do me a quick favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner? There's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs. And it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Also, posting to your stories, sharing with your friends, and tapping the screen all helps get the porch pushed out. Okay, you guys, the poll, I had to redo it 3 times and it finally got approved. Gotta love this app. Okay. Let's see here. We have the New Orleans vampires, the crawl space, the Lake Worth monster, and the midnight movie. And you can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner. Oh, we have the wrong. There we go. Drag this down a little bit. Yep, we have the NOLA vampires, the crawl space, the Lake Worth monster, and the midnight movie. Sherry, if you go to one of the playlists on my YT, there's a button that looks like 2 arrows chasing each other, and you click on that once, it'll loop the whole playlist. If you click on it twice, it'll just loop the one video. You'll see it looks like a little, it's a loop button, but it's only under the playlist. So just go into there's also a playlist called all videos. So you can literally just click on any playlist and hit that. And then there's like a little looping button. Yeah, it's like at the top of the playlist, like right at the top of the first video, it'll be a little circle, like the repost button. It's like 2 arrows chasing each other like a loop. And it'll just play all night. Welcome back, Corey. I've missed your jokes. Lovely. Lovely. They're so lovely. You know what's so funny is they're so far at the bottom of the bedtime stories playlist, there's no way you would make it to it. If you didn't do shuffle, if you just do loop, there's no way you'd still be awake. because they're old. Like they're at the very bottom because they go in order. Corey, I was trying to find your note. There we go. Welcome back, Corey. Miss your funny jokies. And I'm shocked. The Vampire Story won. I'm blown away. That never happens. Thank you, Gemini. Thank you, Diana. Thanks, Laura. Thank you, Gemini, so much. Thank you, Siren. Thanks, Amy. Butterfly, thank you for the gold coin. And Skrilla, hard pass. I'm not a vampire girly. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Holly. So salty. And yes, I know it's very weird that I am a spooky gal and I'm not a vampire or a fall girly, but I'm weird. And like actually weird, like weird even to the weird people. No, but weird in a good way, Jade. I'm just saying, like, I just like what I like, you know what I mean? And I'm not, but I feel like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, not the TV show that followed, the original movie, scared the shit out of me. And I just never been a vampire girl. But I also I don't know. I believe cryptids are possible. I don't think vampires are. So I guess it's just the science girly in me. I'm like, I like the unexplained, but I don't feel like blood. I don't know. I'm not a blood fan. Blood makes me feel weird. I'm like, ugh. Ugh. No, you're not, Jade. Jade, as your supreme, I can tell you, you're not a vampire. You're a witch. You weirdo. Code red, I know, and I cannot imagine. I really admire people who work in the medical field. I wanted to be a Kim's dying, so is Angela. I wanted to be a vet when I was a kid. So she said, "Oh, you just said it." Yeah, pretty much, Jade. I just said it. And as which I rarely do say, by the way. So I went and did this thing called Vet Explorers in elementary school. And I'm not going to tell you guys, I probably can't even use the word on here, but they did something to a cat where they removed the cat's babies from inside of her. Like, and they don't live. And I fainted on the floor. And then they called my parents. And then they were like, "We don't think she's cut out to be a vet. She can't seem to handle blood." And I was like, "Yep, I don't ever want to see anything like that again. Peace." And I was like, "I love animals, but not the inside of them." So, not a blood girly. Now, a tornado or a storm or Mothman, I'll take it all day. McKay, I have a dog man and I have the Ozarks Howler, which are both pretty much versions of werewolves. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the New Orleans vampires. went to New Orleans for research, which is how I usually justify most of my bad ideas. I was tracing the evolution of vampire folklore in the American South. Specifically, how European legends mutated once they hit a city already saturated with death, ritual, and humidity thick enough to feel alive. New Orleans isn't just a setting for vampire stories. It's a collaborator. I told myself this as the plane descended, watching the wetlands spread out like dark veins beneath the clouds. I wasn't there to chase thrills. I was there to understand why this city, more than anywhere else in the United States, insists on vampires not as monsters, but as residents. From the start, the research didn't behave the way it should have. Most folklore trips follow a familiar pattern. You read the academic sources, then the local retellings, and then the exaggerated tourist versions. And somewhere in the overlap, you find the truth hiding quietly. But New Orleans didn't offer any overlap. It offered layers, and each layer contradicted the last while insisting that it was the original. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Rainbows. The French Quarter vampire narratives were the most well-known, of course. Stories tied to the Ursuline convent, the so-called casket girls. European women arriving with coffin-shaped trunks that allegedly contained the soil from their homeland. Every early account I found had marginal notes, scratched out lines, revisions made by different hands, dates corrected, and names removed. Entire paragraphs missing. As if someone had decided that certain details aged poorly and needed to be retired. Rochelle added a UFO, yay! The more obscure the source, the more intact the story. By the third day, I had narrowed my focus to a cluster of accounts centered around the lower quarter and the stretch of streets edging toward Marigny. These stories didn't frame vampires as predators. They framed them as caretakers, watchers. Things that stayed behind when everyone else fled. Especially during outbreaks, fires, and floods. There was an old phrase that kept repeating across decades of material. Laveurs des sangs. Watchers of the blood. I stayed in a narrow, creaking guest house that predated most of the street's wiring. The kind of place where the floors slope gently toward history. I chose it because several of the earliest accounts referenced a boarding house on that same block, though the name had changed at least 4 times. The first oddity I noticed was architectural. My room had no threshold. Thank you, Jen. And I don't mean it lacked a door frame. I mean there was no raised sill, no lip, no transition between hallway and room. Just a continuous stretch of warped wood, polished smooth by time. It struck me as strange because old buildings usually exaggerated boundaries. They didn't erase them. That night, I organized my materials, spreading photocopies and notebooks across the bed. Many of the older stories described an informal system of permission. Residents didn't invite vampires inside their homes, they acknowledged them. Left doors ajar, removed locks during epidemics. The implication was subtle, but it was consistent. The invitation wasn't verbal. It was architectural. The second oddity came the next morning. I woke with a distinct sensation that someone had been standing in my room. It wasn't fear exactly, it was just the way you can feel someone looking at you when you're sleeping. And then I looked and my notes had been rearranged. Not missing and not damaged, just simply reorganized by street instead of by year, which made no sense given how I work. What bothered me wasn't the intrusion, it was the competence. Whoever did this understood the material. I told myself maybe I was just really tired and didn't remember doing it, but that explanation lasted until I noticed the addition. At the top of the page, written in a careful old-fashioned handwriting that was definitely not mine, was a date. Not a future warning, not a threat. It was a correction. I spent the afternoon walking New Orleans. The city encourages walking because it wants you tired, slower, more permeable. The city teaches you where to step and where not to linger. I followed the path of the older stories, noting which buildings were repeatedly spared during disasters. Fires that jumped entire blocks but stopped short of certain doors. Flood lines that curved strangely around specific courtyards. Every one of those buildings shared something subtle in common. They lacked thresholds. No raised sills, no symbolic barrier. Doors that met the street directly. As if the house and the city had agreed not to pretend they were separate things anymore. That night, I stayed up late reading first-hand accounts from the early 1900s. One written by a night physician during a yellow fever outbreak described men who never slept and never aged, who moved patients from bed to bed, who carried the dying into the street so the illness wouldn't spread. He never used the word vampire. He used the word neighbor. Sometime after midnight, I became aware of movement in my room. Figures stood along the walls, dressed in styles that didn't belong to the same decade, let alone the same room. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Call Me Lumberjack. Their faces were calm, focused, almost bored. But none of them crossed over to the room. And that was when I noticed again the missing threshold. The way my room bled directly into the hall, and the hall into the stairs, and the stairs into the street. There was actually no moment where entry became intrusion. CJ. And they weren't trespassing, they were just present. And then I realized the Watchers weren't invited into homes. The homes of New Orleans were built so that they never had to be. New Orleans hadn't survived because it was lucky or resilient. It had survived because it made room for the residents who refused to leave. Because when death came too often, the city negotiated. The The figures began to move, adjusting the placement of my notes, correcting dates, removing names. And then I realized none of these older accounts had been censored by institutions. They had been edited by participants. Then one figure paused beside my bed, close enough that I could see details. Their eyes met mine briefly, and I realized that I had been researching vampires. To them, I had been auditing a system. The Watchers of the Blood were not hunters, they were the infrastructure. When disease came, they carried it away. When violence surged, they redirected it. When the dead overflowed, they thinned the threshold between life and after, so the city wouldn't drown in its own loss. Justin. Every few decades, someone like me came along and started noticing the patterns that we were not supposed to notice. The figure reached down and placed something on the nightstand. A small brittle card, a guest registry entry from the boarding house. My name was already written on it, and above it, a name had been crossed out. Someone else had planned this research, and they never left New Orleans. The figures receded, not vanishing, simply redistributing themselves back into the city's bones. And then all the sound returned. The traffic, the laughter, a distant trumpet playing. In the morning, my notes were intact but altered. Certain connections no longer made sense, and certain conclusions now refused to form. The material that remained was safe, publishable, toothless. I checked out early. Thank you, Skrilla. I checked out early. At the airport, while waiting to board, I searched for the name on the registry that had been crossed out. It appeared exactly once in public records. Cause of death listed as relocation complications. No body was ever recovered. I still research folklore, and I still travel for it. But I understand the rule now, the one that New Orleans never bothers to explain. Some cities don't have vampire legends because they fear them. They have them because they rely on them. And if you notice too much, the city doesn't chase you away. It just edits you out. And that's the tale of the New Orleans vampires. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore, and I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. If you're enjoying hanging out with us on the porch tonight, don't forget to give me a follow. So if you fall off the porch, you can find us again. Jade. Thanks for the corn. All right, and you guys know what time it is. You are Sarah. That is for a fact. Indeed. I lived in Houston for a long time, and a lot of that city is people who used to live in New Orleans, and very cool people, very special and different. Guys, it's grilled cheese time. Justin. Brett, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. And if you are new here, we end every live with this story because it was requested so often and people didn't want me to end the live before I read it. So I decided to end every live with this story because it's everybody's favorite. It has become a beloved classic. My merch store now has its own section dedicated completely to this story. So if you've never heard it, sit back and relax. I highly recommend making yourself a late night grilled cheese sandwich because you will probably be craving it when you're done. Also, yes, Justin, my amazing mod extraordinaire, does like to tell us his previous dancer names throughout the night as he makes them up from my story, from the words in my stories. And it is something we literally now look forward to and we force him to do every night. So, hopefully you caught some of Justin's wonderful dancer names tonight. CJ even made one up in the live premiere earlier tonight for Justin. I can't remember what it was right now, but it was very funny. So sit back and relax, grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, lay back, check out the shooting stars, and welcome to the porch. Oh yeah, it was something, it was unnerved. Damn it, it was good. I don't remember. But Dragon, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the porch. And as I always say, there is always room for one more on the porch. Jade. All right, guys, be right back with the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Oh my God, Rita, thank you for the cute sundae. Barrelicious. Hi, Rita. Hi, my little potato. Skrilla. I'll be right back with the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Nady, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. I know, Jade, I love it. It's so funny. I love when you volunteer Justin for things. It cracks me up. Hi, Lauren. I could tell it was your picture. Hi. Officially unnerved. Yep, was a dancer name at these. Yeah. Thank you for the beautiful violin. Chopin. Thanks, Rita. That was so cute. Misbehaving. Thanks for the meerkat. That violin was so pretty. And it was Chopin in the rain. Good night, Mary. Sweet dreams. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, that's a good one, Spooky Cabin. Chartreuse Vamoose. Rita, I really liked that violin. That was so pretty. Thanks. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society, this is the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. I'm not usually the kind of person who pulls over on back roads at night. Not unless I absolutely have to. But that night, something about the storm, the long drive, and that growling pit in my stomach convinced me otherwise. I was hungry. It was late October, and I was headed back to campus after a weekend visit with my friends in North Carolina. I had a midterm on Monday, and my plan had been to drive straight through. 5 hours, no stops. But then came the rain. One of those cold, slanted, whispery rains that creeps into your bones and makes the windshield wipers sound like a heartbeat. I had taken the wrong exit trying to bypass traffic, and I ended up on a 2-lane back road, surrounded by nothing but pine trees and power lines. And that's when I saw the neon sign. SYCAMRE Diner. The O in Sycamore was flickering like it hadn't worked in years. But the rest was lit up in a cherry red neon, a tiny beacon in the middle of nowhere. I figured I'd grab a quick bite, maybe some coffee, check my map, and get back on the highway. But I should have just kept driving. I should have known something was off the second I stepped inside. The bell over the door jingled, but not like a normal bell. It made this sharp metallic ping that echoed longer than it should have. Justin. The air inside was warm, almost too warm, and it smelled like grilled onions and pancake syrup. The place looked like it had been yanked straight from 1957. Checkerboard floor, red vinyl booths, a long counter with spinning stools. Even a jukebox in the corner that looked like it hadn't worked in decades. And the people, they all stopped and looked at me the second I walked in. Not in a rude way, just quiet. Like they weren't expecting me. Like I'd walked into the middle of a sentence that no one wanted to finish. The waitress, tall with a beehive hairdo and a light blue uniform, smiled and waved me over. "You get caught in the rain, sweetheart," she said, handing me a laminated menu. I nodded, still trying to shake off that weird feeling. Yeah, the highway's a mess. She chuckled and patted my shoulder. "Well, you're safe here. Sycamore's always open for travelers." I sat down at a corner booth. The vinyl creaked, and I remember the jukebox shifted songs by itself and started playing some slow doo-wop ballad that I didn't recognize. I looked around and everyone looked normal, sort of. There was a trucker with a thick gray beard drinking coffee at the counter. A young couple whispering to each other in a booth by the jukebox. And an older woman stirring tea like she was lost in thought. But they all had the same look in their eyes, like they were there but also somewhere else. Like they were watching me out of the corner of their eyes even when they were looking down. The waitress came back with coffee, strong, hot, and surprisingly good. And I ordered a grilled cheese with fries. Simple, safe. She wrote it down with one of those clicky pens and said, "Don't worry, it's on the house tonight." And that was my second red flag. No diner just gives food away. While I waited, I took out my phone to check the map. And no signal, and I mean nothing. No bars, no Wi-Fi, not even GPS. Just a blank screen with a spinning wheel. I glanced out the foggy window and the storm was still going. But now the wind had picked up. I could see the power lines swaying like jump ropes in the dark. But the diner stayed perfectly lit. Not even a flicker. Thank you, Matt. The food came fast. Too fast. Thank you, Crystal. Like under 5 minutes. But it looked amazing. Golden bread, gooey cheese, crispy fries with a little metal cup of ketchup on the side. I took a bite. Delicious. I mean, I've eaten at a lot of diners. Greasy spoons, college joints, and roadside shacks, but this was hands down the best grilled cheese I've ever had. The fries were perfect, and the coffee never ran out. Every time I took a sip, it was somehow full again. I was halfway through the sandwich when the trucker got up to leave. We walked right past the table. He walked right past the table and nodded once and whispered, "Don't stay past midnight." That's all he said. What? But he was already gone. The waitress gave me a tight smile and walked over collecting his empty mug. Old Earl, he's always saying weird stuff, just ignore him. But I couldn't. Something about his voice stuck with me. Something about the way he looked at me, not like I was a customer, but like I was in danger. I checked the clock over the register. It was 11:42. I figured I had just enough time to finish my fries, grab the check, and head out. I still had at least 3 hours left on the road. But when I stood up, the lights flickered. Just once, and then again. And then everything in the diner stopped moving. The couple by the jukebox froze mid-sentence. The woman with the tea stopped stirring, her spoon hanging in midair. The waitress, her hand reached out for a mug, just stopped. Like someone hit pause on the entire scene. I took a step back. The jukebox buzzed, glitched, and restarted a new track. I could still move, but no one else could. And then I heard it. Not music, not a storm, a voice. Not coming from anyone I could see, just a whisper that seemed to echo from the walls themselves. Thank you, baby firefly, thank you. Thank you, peace. I backed toward the door, my heart hammering in my chest. I turned the knob. Locked. Of course it was locked. Thank you, Brett. I tried the windows, but they were sealed shut. I started banging on the glass and shouting, but no one was outside. Just the wind and rain, and that flickering red sign. SYCAMRE. I turned back toward the dining room, and everyone was gone. Not frozen anymore, just gone. The booths were empty, no plates, no crumbs, no mugs, no sign that anyone had ever even been there. Except for my plate, still warm and still half eaten. And then I saw the waitress. She was standing by the kitchen doors, her silhouette backlit by flickering fluorescent light. Her face was wrong. The same smile, but her eyes were empty, black and endless, like someone had painted over them. "You shouldn't be here, honey," she said in that same cheerful voice. "Not yet." I stumbled back, knocking over a chair as she took one slow step toward me. "The others, they were waiting, but you just wandered in." She raised a hand and the walls began to shimmer. Literally, shimmer like heat waves on asphalt. The checkered floor rippled, and the red booths started to fade, becoming outlines, and then shadows, and then nothing. And then I saw it, underneath the illusion. It was charred wood, cracked tile, broken beams, and black soot, like the diner had burned down long ago. I ran. I don't even remember how I got out. 1 second I was inside, and the next I was on the side of the road, soaked to the bone and gasping for air. My car was still there, parked on gravel that didn't even look like a lot anymore. Just weeds and puddles. No neon sign. No glowing windows, just nothing. I drove back to campus that night in silence. No music. No Porch Lore podcast. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, peace. I kept glancing in the rear view mirror, half expecting to see that red neon flicker back to life. I didn't tell anyone, not for weeks. Not until I finally looked up Sycamore Diner on a local history site. And I found it. It burned to the ground in 1972. A gas leak. The whole place went up at midnight, and everyone inside was killed. 5 patrons, a waitress, and a cook. The photo in the article. The same checkerboard floor, same red booths, same neon sign. SYCAMORE. And in the corner of the photo, that same waitress, smiling. I never took that back road again. I don't even drive at night anymore if I can help it. And every time I see a neon diner sign, something in me flinches just a little. Good one, lumberjack. Because I know I was there. And I know I wasn't supposed to be. But the part that keeps me up sometimes, the part that really makes my stomach turn, that was the best damn grilled cheese I've ever had. And I didn't even pay for it. And that's the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. I have astigmatism too, CJ. I just don't care. Thank you, Mark. Welcome to the porch. Oh, Venus. Venus, just go watch one of the live recordings on my YT. Pretend you're still here. That'll help regulate. A dancer name? That's a good... Well, I need to come up with it with a story. Yeah, it's not the same. You're right. Yes, Mark. All of this is available on my YT channel. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. I have a bedtime stories playlist over there as well, and recordings of all of the lives. And there's Merlin stretching, getting up, flopping back down already. Cracked Towel. Cracked Towel was my dancer name. At the bathroom, I did coke. I'm bad at this. Oh, Jade, you missed it. He was slurping earlier. You missed it. It did take a turn. Cracked Towel was my dancer name at the Bucky's bathroom. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. Anyway, thank you guys. Yeah, Hannah Montana. I got Miley. I got White. I can't. Hannah Montana. Hannah Montana. Dr. O said classic. That is a classic. That is a classic. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me every evening. I look forward to it. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys liked the new story tonight. Christina Aguilera. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Thanks, CJ. That was many, many moons ago. No longer. Javana Montana. That's funny. I do love French Montana. I will be back again tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget, on Wednesday is Witchy Wednesday. During the day. Yes, so fun, Dr. O. I'm glad you came back to hang out with us. Good night, everybody. Yes, CJ, we love you. Good night, everybody. I hope you get some wonderful sleep. And if you don't, head on over. Hi, Halls. And check out my, hi, Gickle. Check out my YT channel. There's a bedtime stories playlist. You can hit loop and you can fall asleep to it. And I love you guys so much. And yes, I am, Nikki. Thank you so much. That's so sweet that you said I hope so. Thank you. I just recently became, so thank you so much. And I will see you guys again tomorrow night. And don't forget, bish you wish, that's okay. Come back tomorrow, boo-boo. I love you. Witchy Wednesday is at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. But I still do the nighttime one too, don't worry. I'm going to watch Justin dance to the truck stop after this. Oh, are you? Which truck stop? Loves or Bucky's? I know he's got, he's scheduled at both. So I just want to make sure. He said, give me 15 minutes. quickies. Oh. Loves in Troutdale. I'll see you guys there. Good night, Crystal. And guys, don't forget, stay spooky.